Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm gonna attempt to do this really cool, like, Aurora look. I think the person that I saw do this on Instagram was calling it, like, Fire and Ice Aurora Crystal Ball or something like that. I'll insert the reel that I saw, and I'm just kind of copying what this person did. I know I've seen it done before, and it's kind of been done the same way, but anyhow, I'm just starting off by painting all of the nails black with Perfect Black from Madam Glam. I think I only did one coat of this, and I cured that for 60 seconds. I will say, every time I've seen someone do this set, it always came out kind of like thick and bulky, and I was seeing, like, wanting to see if I could do it to where it wasn't as thick and bulky, especially if you're doing it on a shorter nail. Like, a thicker shorter nail looks kind of weird, whereas you can kind of get away with a thicker nail better when it's longer. But a lot of times I've only seen this on pretty short nails, and it does look a little thick and bulky. You can kind of see it there on the reel, how that nail also looks a little bulky. So like I said, I wanted to see if I could try and maybe do it so it's not as thick and bulky. So after I got all the nails painted black, I showed in the beginning the chrome powder that I'm using. Like, it's a chrome powder, but if you mix it with like a base coat or a top coat or whatever, some sort of clear gel, it will give, like, you can get a cat eye effect out of it. I got this from AliExpress, I think, or maybe Temu. I don't know. It was in one of my haul videos, and I was kind of complaining about how you don't get very much in the little jar that it comes in. But anyhow, I chose this because I felt like it kind of had the same colors as in the reel. It was kind of that purple blue shift. The only difference is with this that I'm using, it does have reflective pieces in it, and I kind of forgot about that until I started applying it, and then that's when I remembered, but I just continued using it. So I applied a layer of that and then used my magnet to bring those magnet pieces up. I was just kind of bringing all the magnet pieces up to the surface. I think this technique is called like the velvet technique, or like the velvet look, where you just bring all those magnet pieces to the surface of the nail. And then after I got the magnet pieces how I wanted them to look, I did go ahead, flash cure them real quick, and then once I got all of that applied, I did go ahead and cure all of the nails for a full 60 seconds. So these are the little sheets that I'm going to use for those little Aurora pieces. I had a hard time finding these, honestly, because at first I was just typing in Aurora like nail foil on Amazon, and I wasn't really finding the same thing that was used in that reel. But then I went back to the reel to see if she said what she used, and she said they were called angel papers. So I went and typed that in onto Amazon, and this came up immediately. So you get a bunch of different sheets and a bunch of different colors, and then you get that little sheet with like the rainbow like hearts on there, which I thought were really cool. I ended up ordering a few more packs of these just for those hearts, because I want to try and do something with that for like Valentine's Day maybe, because I think they're really cool. And they give like this really cool effect. But anyhow, I went ahead and pulled out the orange sheet. Like I said, I'm trying to stick to the same color scheme as in the reel. So I'm using the orange sheet, and I'm using the little square pieces because I felt like they were going to fit the best on the nail. I just held them up to the nail to see like which size and shape was going to work. I know in her video she did like the oval ones, and really you could use whatever shape you wanted and like whatever size that would fit your nail the best, but I decided to go with the square for some reason. Like I said, I feel like it was going to fit the best on the nail, and then I just used my tweezers to pull them off this sheet. I will say they are really flimsy and they do tear pretty easily, so you got to be super careful when you're pulling them off that sheet. You'll see on, I think it's actually this first one here, how a corner of the square is like ripped off, or it's one of the nails that you'll see that the corner of the square is ripped off because I did tear it. But to adhere them on to the nail, I just took my rubber base from LGN and applied that to the entire nail, and then I picked up the little film piece and stuck that down on the nail, and then I stuck it under my flash cure lamp and held it down with my tweezers to make sure that it was flat and it stayed flat. And I feel like that really helped to make sure that this was going to keep the nail as thin as possible, because watching that reel, I noticed that she dipped it into, I'm going to assume, either rhinestone glue or a builder gel, which is quite a thick. This rubber base gel is also quite thick, but it's not as thick as like a rhinestone glue or a builder gel. And then she just stuck that right down onto the nail and didn't like flatten it out or anything. So I think that, you know, flattening it down, like holding it down to flatten it out, really helped to make it not be so thick and bulky. I do show you here how I'm holding it down. So I'm just pulling my flash cure lamp over. This is the LGN gooseneck lamp. I really like it. I use it a lot. Like whenever I'm applying my tips, because I do apply my tips with the LGN rubber base gel. But anyhow, as you can see here, I turn the flash cure lamp on, and I just hold down like the edges of the little Aurora film piece down, again to make sure that it's flat and it's not like sticking up on any of the edges. And then once I get that flash cured on, I do go ahead and put it in my big lamp for a full 60 seconds. And as you can see here, it is laying pretty flat compared to how I feel like it was laying in the reel. then this is something that needs to be encapsulated, so I'm just doing that with the rubber base gel. I apply a thin layer of that, which is my slip layer, and then I take a bit more and just float that on top to make sure that everything is covered and it's nice and encapsulated. And then I do hold it upside down for a little bit to you know, kind of level everything out. And then I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And I've only ever seen this design done with gel, but I'm sure you can do it with acrylic as well. Like if you lay down some clear acrylic and then hold down these little pieces until that hardens a bit, and then encapsulate it with clear acrylic as well, I feel like it would work just the same as if you were to do it with gel. And I think in the reel she used some sort of builder gel to encapsulate the nails, but I felt like because these nails are super short, I didn't really want to pull out the builder gel and deal with that. I could just do it with the rubber base, so that's what I did. And then she also filed it a little bit to, you know, make sure everything was nice and smooth. But again, I didn't feel like I really needed to do that, so I didn't bother filing. But obviously if you need to file, then file the nail up a little bit. But also you want to be careful that you don't file too much, because you don't want to file into these little Aurora film paper things. And then after I got them all encapsulated, I went ahead and top coated them with my shiny top coat. And once I got that applied, I cured for 60 seconds. And this is how they came out, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about this set. I feel like on camera with the bright light and in the sunlight, they look really good, but in person, they don't look as good. And then on camera, in the dark under flash, they don't look as good, but in person under flash, they look really good. So I don't know. They're kind of weird. I think they came out pretty good and pretty close to the original, but also the reflective glitter really throws it off, especially on camera under the flash. I feel like it takes away from the whole design. You're also losing that like cat eye effect, and it really like camouflages the Aurora film pieces, I feel like. So I'm not really a huge fan of the reflective glitter. I do kind of want to redo this design and use a different cat eye that doesn't have those reflective pieces in it. I feel like it would look a lot better without all that extra added glitter to it. I will say though, I am really happy with the way I did it because I was able to keep them still pretty thin. Like I'm showing here, you can see there's not a whole lot of extra added bulk. Obviously there is a bit of bulk added to it because of all those different layers, but it's nowhere near as thick and bulky as I've seen it be done other times when I've seen people do this, so I am really happy with that. And like I said, I'm not really a huge fan of how this looks in the sun. Those film pieces really show through, like they don't look kind of clear and see-through like they do in other shots. They look very like solid and in your face, and I don't really care for that look. I definitely like how they look under lower lighting or like not in direct sunlight where those pieces are a little more see-through. You'll see that here in a minute when you see them under the flash again. Like right here, they are pretty see-through and you don't see them as boldly as you do in the sunlight, and I really like how that looks here. And with this clip, it really proves to me that this would look a whole lot better without all those reflective pieces. So I definitely need to try this again with a different cat eye that doesn't have the reflective pieces. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.